deadline. That's one thing. I'm not upsetting anybody in my house doing that, or my flat doing that, because there is no one to upset. And another time I might just want to sit and just be. It's been a real freedom to me. It's really allowed so many things to come up that because there's not any external influence.
It's a freedom
in other directions. Yeah, from where I am. Now, that's not knocking relationships. It's not, and not at all. But it's clearly that in my life, that's where I've needed to be for the last 5 years, and I think will probably need to be until I have done what I do and I go somewhere else.
Well, until this cycle is over. Because you've been in the midst of a big clearing out the house, the attic, the garage, the basement type of time, and there is a part of you that I know, because you've shared with me your birth date, place, and time, and I can look at it and see there is an absolute hermit part of you, as well as a people part. There's two mints in one. You're not just a hermit, but you are a hermit, and you love that.
Yes, I am. That's an interesting point, because I've said many times over the years that there's an apparent contradiction. It's not, but it appears to be.
It's a dimensionality.
Throughout my life, I left school and I became a professional footballer, which is a public situation. I then became a journalist and I became a radio presenter. Then I became a national television presenter with the BBC for years, and that would put me into another public situation. I then became national spokesman for the British Green Party. That's another public situation. And then I went through my experience and got absolutely lambasted on a massive scale in the national media in Britain, and became a public person on a bigger scale, doing something else. And the contradiction on the surface is that you are right. I am a very, very private person. And I do what I do in the public arena because that's what I need to do to communicate what I'm doing. And I needed to experience the media so that I understood how that worked. I saw how it was irrelevant to telling you the truth about the world. I went into politics briefly with the Green Party, which allowed me to see that politics is an irrelevance to making any change in the world. So all these things were part of my journey, but behind that public persona in all these different expressions is a very, very private person. And the 5 years of living alone, I mean, I spend maybe 95% of my life alone. So then when I go out, like in 2011, and did this kind of massive multi-event world tour around the world. Well, a world tour would be around the world, really, wouldn't it?
At least this world.
Yeah, but what that does...
Is there something you want to tell us?
It's so different. It's so different that it actually... I love it. I love it. I love it when I'm doing it. I love being on the stage, interacting with the energy of the audience and stuff. It's just such a bloody joy. But once it's over, I'm back to the hotel room and I'm a hermit again. It's funny, really. I have to laugh sometimes. So it's like, I don't know, whatever it is, and
some might say that's like your karma, your proclivity that comes on the natch, because going out there and presenting, I mean, you knock it out of the park. People respond, that's good. But your enigma, the challenge, is dealing with that other that you can't directly control, and experiences have said, oh my goodness, what the hell is that about? Do I have to give up my freedom to be with anyone? And therefore, how to let these two extremes, because you have a bigger picture. I mean, we all have the big grand switchboard in front of us, but most people only have a little bit of it switched on. But you can see a bigger picture of it, but that bigger picture, I know, includes the part of you that's fascinated with that reflection of the other, but not necessarily fascinated with the experiences of and with the other. But there's other things right at this specific time is getting ready, as you can tell. I mean, the quickening's happening for us all. I mean, we're all experiencing deepenings in general because we're hungry for that. This is the time for that. We signed up in a sense. I mean, isn't it so much better than, let's say, if our life just peaked like in 1950. But this increase, this speed up, I mean, what a time to be here on this planet, alive and watching this open up. I mean, goodness gracious, if you were in the 15th century with Bruno, they would have burned you at the stake. And I think they tried to do that in England with you, because remember that phrase I used in the intro? All truth passes through 3 stages. First, it's ridiculed. I think so. Secondly, it's violently opposed. I know you've been threatened many times. But third, it's accepted as being self-evident. So, as you put in your lectures, talks, the world's not flat. And yet, how long did we believe that? In other words, you're
yeah, I mean...
Yeah, you're coming into your... Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
No.
I was just saying, basically what I do is I put information out.
Yeah.
And I've reached the point, well, long ago, really, that I'm not concerned with how it's received.
Right.
Because it's none of my business.
Right.
You know, if I put information out and then try to start dictating how it's received, then I'm just part of the system.
Right.
You put information out there, and then people make of it what they will. And you know, people think that when they say things about people, that they make or do things in relation to people, that they're making a statement about those people. No, they're not.
No.
They're making a statement about themselves.
Yeah, we're all living Rorschach tests.
Yeah, people who ridicule me,
yeah,
and you know, extremely nasty to me. Some people, quite a lot of people, really, because I'm saying things that are different, is making a statement about them, not me. But they don't realize that.
Hey, you don't have to go out in
what's going on.
You don't have to go out in the world and do that. All you have to do is get married. I call my first marriage boot camp. And as I said, you may tour the world and you've had the people give you some negative feedback on occasion, but people don't have to go out in the world and do a world tour. They can just get married to someone who reflects the part of themselves they don't accept, and then that person will do it all by themselves.
Well, I don't have to think about that anymore.
Yeah, because you're a hermit right now.
What is also happening is vast numbers of people are awakening to what's going on, and thus, you know, the amount of abuse that I get and ridicule that I get is being increased by those in the media and those who are helping the media. Because it's actually a confirmation of how successful I'm becoming in getting this information out. But on the other side, the increasing numbers of people among the public are actually not reacting like that anymore. They're reacting in a very, very different way. So there's so many dynamics going on at the moment because we're at the fork in the road. We're at the fork in the road where the old way of seeing the world and self is starting to break down, and because it's starting to break down, that's why it is throwing everything at us to try to protect itself and retain its apparent omnipotence. This is what the control system's all about. It's trying to hang on to its control in the face of this awakening that's going on. And on the other hand, the awakening is happening, and thus, you know, we're seeing this dynamic of the control system trying to impose itself more and more. But on the other side, people awakening to that more and more. And you know, I think you mentioned it earlier. I've said it many times. It is an incredible time to be in this reality, experiencing what's happening, because we're absolutely solid gold now in the cusp of a vast transformation of human society caused by a vast transformation in human perception. You know, I mean, it's just wonderful to be here. Challenging, but it's as challenging as you want it to be. You see, if I cared what people thought about me, said about me, and all that stuff, then my life would be far more challenging than it actually is. Because I'm not, then, you know, what they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And
you say it yourself. You say it in such a perfect way, because you brought up Tomlinson's quote, and it's the best quote for this, because it takes courage to not just say it, but to know it. And that is, people don't see the world as it is, They see the world as they are. And giving them that freedom to not know. It's like Jung even put it in a similar way, saying no matter what you do, a third of the people will always love you, a third will hate you, and a third will be indifferent. And I know you've run the gauntlet. I know you've survived, all kinds of attacks